Greetings, and welcome back to the MCOC Encyclopedia. For our 100th video on the channel, something a little bit special. For the longest time, Sauron has not been seen as a particularly good champion, and can be quite disappointing if you pull him from the highest level of crystal you have available. Given he's in the 7-star basic pool, most people see him as a complete dud. But I believe that Sauron does not deserve the hate he gets, and should be taken far more seriously. Is he the best? Certainly not, but that doesn't make him a bad pull. And with that in mind, I set out on a little quest, to solo every single Act 6 boss with him, or at least give it a damn good try. At the start, I wasn't entirely sure if this is even possible, and whether I would be able to do it. So what are the rules of our little challenge? 1. All boss fights must be done with Sauron, and they must be full solos. No going in and out, chipping bosses down a few HP at a time, and spamming revives. Full solos only. 2. I can bring any supporting team I like, though of course I still need to complete the path to get to the boss, and this may limit our options. 3. No boosts at all. Not a single one. No cheesing fights with power back boosts and spamming big special 2s over and over again. No boosts allowed. And finally, 4. Masteries and relics are fair game. I can use whatever I like here. For the majority of this video, I think I use the Gambit relic for most fights, but any relic would work really. For masteries, I'll be switching between my normal offense build and my recoil offense build. For more details on these, they can be found in my masteries video that I'll link in the top right and in the description. To help keep track of what is going on, I've added a little key to the bottom of each fight. That was a 130k special 2, by the way. The first half of this key, 6.1.2 in this situation, is simply where we are in Act 6, and hence which boss we are taking. Here, 2 is the number of charges on my Professor X if he's on the team. I think he's on the team for every single fight, but if he isn't, I'll just put 0. The first Y is a yes or no as to whether I'm running the recoil masteries, and the second Y is a yes-no as to whether my Sauron is a horseman of apocalypse. Now, I can hear you saying, Mr Encyclopedia, that is a 7-star rank 3 Sauron you're using. To which I say, you're damn right I am. You have any idea how long it took me to record all of this? Most of the time, I'm only using the big Sauron, simply so this video isn't well over an hour long, and it's looking like it might be close anyway. However, this 6-star rank 2 Sauron will be showing up from time to time, including taking the buffed 6.2.2 Mr Sinister boss, and he does a pretty good job of it as well. Most fights that I'm using the big Sauron for, he could be taken with the 6-star rank 2, but that would just take a bit longer. So what makes all of this possible? How does Sauron work? Firstly, Sauron is fully poison immune and has 95% bleed resistance. This is better than Omega Red, who is widely considered to have great immunities, and we aren't even finished yet. Whilst much rarer, Sauron is also fully immune to power steal effects, and his regeneration rate cannot be modified. If he wants to regen, he's going to regen. If he's bleeding, which he has 95% resistance to, he will also gain a 25% critical resistance passive, making him a lot harder to crit. This is an excellent safety net if you do find yourself getting hit. All of this combines to make quite a flexible champion that really can take quite a lot. I have brought Sauron into the highest level of Alliance War, and he does really well, taking some particularly tricky fights, like Baron Zemo on the stun immune bleed and shock node. Add Odin pre-fights to reduce the shock damage, and he will just regen the entire fight. Sauron's light attacks have a 35% chance to deal 50% of the damage done, as an extra burst of physical damage, and this can happen through block, pretty much exactly the same as a 5-charge Hercules. The fact that it can happen through block is more important than most people realise, but we'll come on to why later. 35% chance might seem quite low, but if this burst doesn't happen, then Sauron will instead gain a permanent passive prowess, and these stack up to 10. He will ramp up much faster if the reason that his prowesses trigger is due to ability accuracy modification and not just the chance of failure. He'll gain 3 at a time instead of just 1. If Sauron has 7 or more of his passive prowess on him, his dash attacks, his heavy attacks, or his special attacks will grant him an unblockable passive for 4 seconds, which is paused during his special attacks. Once Sauron reaches 10 passive prowess, dash attacks will inflict a bleed passive over 4 seconds, and this can be quite a chunky bleed. Also at 10 prowess, but on any hit, when you hit the opponent, you'll inflict them with a large degen passive for 5 seconds. This will also trigger Sauron's extinction mode, and this will increase his burst damage, as well as increasing his ability accuracy by 100%. Once this degen passive expires, it will also remove all prowess on Sauron. Sauron's Special 1 and Special 2 don't do anything hugely important, though that Special 2 can hit really hard. His Special 1 will let him regenerate proportional to the burst damage he deals on his light attacks for a short while afterwards, and his Special 2 will increase the potency of all physical bursts by 100% for 10 seconds. A nice damage increase, but not wholly necessary. The Special 2 is where a large amount of Sauron's direct damage come from, but it isn't his only source. What I often see overlooked is his Special 3 and the degeneration damage that comes from it. Once a passive prowess expires or is removed from Sauron, he stores it in a bank, and these go up to 30. Upon activating his Special 3, every single one of those banked prowess is converted into a degen passive for 5 seconds, and this can do a huge amount of damage. Sauron can also regenerate if hit, but we're doing our best to avoid that. Lastly, Sauron's Sig is basically pointless. A fairly small potency increase to his prowess for a relatively small damage increase, and there is a super niche way for him to inflict some fairly large passive effects, but it is so niche that I don't think I'd trigger it for this entire video. So all of that explanation has taken us to 6.1.5, where we're up against this Crossbones boss. He can be a fairly major roadblock for many people trying to get Cavalier, as you need really solid damage as well as a poison immune champion to get round him. Luckily for us, Sauron has both. We're just trading Special 1s here, due to the global node not really letting me get to my Special 2. For me to get to my Special 2, he has to get to his Special 2, and that's not really something I want to see. Sauron's damage is plenty good enough that we don't need to worry about it. I throw my Special 1 before he throws his, and with a couple of prowess, it can hit decently hard. Again, this is only the 6-star rank 2 Sauron, so it's not particularly difficult to get your hands on. This fight is going extremely well so far, and keeping topped up with Sauron's Special 1's regen has allowed us to maintain a full yellow bar. You can see from the support key down below, we are not using any recoil masteries, and we're not a Horseman of Apocalypse. We have 1 charge in our Professor X. He happens to be on the team, but I didn't ramp him up, and you'd do just as well without. Crossbones down to 6% health, and with 1 more little combo, he should be going down just nicely. Very cheeky intercept into a final Special 1, and a yellow bar finish against one of the more annoying bosses of 6.1. Moving into 6.1.6, we're back to using the big Sauron. Could the small Sauron take this fight? Absolutely. Do I want to sit here and commentate over that one fight for 20 minutes? No, I don't. We have 4 charges on our Professor X, and we are a Horseman of Apocalypse, but no recoil masteries. I brought some extra support for this fight, simply because it's going to be a long one. This Sentinel is not particularly difficult, but the fact our power keeps getting drained, and the fact that he is basically a super tank with all of those charges, which we've already ramped up to full, because Sentinel ramps up really, really fast against mutants, means this fight is going to take a while. What do the charges in pink on Sentinel mean? Well, they increase his armour, his damage, his crit resistance as well, and that last one is the annoying one. If you'll notice, we basically can't crit this guy at all. The timer under me on the left, between the 68 and the 1, is the Tranquility timer. Once this goes round, all of my power is drained, so we don't have to worry about it. Or it might be Plagued Mind, actually. I think it's Plagued Mind. The 1 is the last special we used, the special 1, and if I use it again, and the little timer goes down from that, then I will be taking a huge amount of burst damage, 50% of my base health, so not really something we want to do. Sauron's Unblockable coming in very useful here for getting some free openings. I'm trying to stick to Sentinel Special 1s because, despite getting hit by one there, they are much easier to dex than the Special 2, and the Special 2, now he's at 100 charges, can inflict his Incinerates off it through block, and that's not really something I want to deal with. So, again, this is sort of a fight of just trading his Special 1, but unlike Crossbones, for nothing. This Sentinel is one of the longest fights we have to take, and there are some much faster fights coming up. This is just bait the Special 1, and get hit by it. I don't seem to be doing a very good job of avoiding it here, but it is showing that Sauron is quite a tank. That regen, that was only taken for 11 there, does put in some surprisingly good work. In this fight, I was trying to build to a Special 2. If I could just get it out, we'd get some much... I cannot dex this Special 1, can I? I'm trying to get to Special 2 to sort of, speed things up a bit, but I just can't get there. Since the Plagued Mind timer keeps stealing all of my power. Or it's a power drain, technically. If it was a power steal, Sauron would be immune to it. Again, there's the Unblockable being very helpful. It allows you to get lots of free openings, and as I said in the introductory description, it's really undervalued by a lot of people. This fight is going dreadfully. The fact that Sauron can build prowess by hitting into the opponent's block is such a small line. Hey, there's the Special 2. We definitely just got hit on purpose so we could reach the Special 2. 100%. It's such a small line, but it is so powerful. If you can build prowess by hitting their block, that means you can go unblockable by hitting their block. If you can go unblockable by hitting their block, that means you can get free openings. You can go on, you get to your 7 prowess, dash back, dash forward, and even if they were just sat there holding block for the whole fight, it doesn't matter. You can get round it. The ability to make your own openings is a super powerful ability, and one that is really frowned upon, or not looked upon as friendly as it should be. That was 120k level 2, by the way. Extremely good damage out of Sauron, particularly when he gets those crits. And we aren't even running recoil in this video. If we were running recoil, he hits so hard. That last hit can crit for over 100k, and there goes the 621 boss, Mr. Symbiote Supreme. Nothing much. Now, however, we are on to Mr. Sinister, and we are back using the 6-star rank 2 Sauron. If you are struggling on this fight, I do have a whole video dedicated to, everything in Act 6. There's a whole playlist that'll take you through it. But this is the buffed Mr. Sinister, and we've got unlucky. If you look on his bar, he has rolled 2 science passives. The science passives increase his regeneration, meaning when I crit him, he will heal for pretty much all of the damage I crit him with. So what's the plan in this fight? Well, the plan here is to use the secondary form of Sauron's damage, and that's the degen from his Special 3. All we're doing is dumping prowess, so we can drop our Special 3, preferably with our passive fury up from our heavy attack, and then we are good to go. Caustic Temper on this node does not work with that passive fury. It must be a fury buff. And you can see I have a fury buff because I brought in the Heimdall and Angela synergy to give me one. I could have brought in the Warlock and the Ultron synergy. That would give me a fury buff every time I trigger poison immunity, and there are poisons on this fight, and Sauron is poison immune. That Special 3 took off about half of Mr. Sinister's health, so from a rank 2 Sauron, all in, that was over a 100,000 Special 2. From a 6-star, Special 3, from a 6-star rank 2 Sauron. Yes, I am running recoil masteries. Yes, we have the Horseman of Apocalypse, but that's not actually helping too much in this fight. I'll explain why in a moment. A 100,000 level 3. From a champion that is relatively frowned upon. Why is the Horseman not necessarily helping here? Well, what are the advantages of being a Horseman? Firstly, you have complete bleed resistance. Well, that's pretty irrelevant given Sauron already has 95% bleed resistance, so pushing that to 100% is basically negligible. It gives you an extra 30% prowess, which sure is nice, but Sauron already builds a whole load of his own prowess, so those stacking don't really do much. This is a 5.5k per tick Special 3 degen from a rank 2 Sauron. excellent damage, and a fairly easy takedown of 622. I will continue explaining the Horseman ability, but can we all just laugh at this fight? This Omega Red is a lot of fun. And we are going to do just an absurd amount of damage. We've got Icarus going, and I really should be throwing a heavy attack to get rid of those Furies off me, but it's Icarus, and this is a big Sauron, and I want to have some fun. So that was a 61k there. That whole special one was about 100,000 damage, maybe more. Go unblockable, and that I think is the fastest boss fight in this video. 23 seconds. This one is my favourite fight in the whole video. Maybe. Certainly top 3. And it's because I can show Sauron building those prowess by hitting block. Minor spoiler alert, we will solo this fight. And I will solo this fight not only with a full yellow bar, but without taking a single point of damage. I will not take a single point of damage in what is arguably one of the harder bosses of Act 6. Not the hardest, by any means. He might be coming next, but one of the nastier bosses in Act 6 we complete without taking a single point of damage. Incoming big special 2. Crit Sauron. No crits needed. Fight goes down without taking a single point of damage. Anyway, back to the Horseman. Bleeds don't matter. Prowess, it's nice, but certainly not required. But it also increases your ability accuracy. And you might be saying, hey, ability accuracy. I love ability accuracy. That's great. However, with Sauron, we have to debate whether it is. Sauron will trigger his prowess when his light attacks don't trigger the burst. So, if we are more likely to trigger the burst, that means our ramp up is actually slower when we're running a Horseman. Excellent lag spike there, that was me, not you, and my old phone crying while I was trying to record this. In many situations, I would argue that actually, it's not helpful to have the Horseman ability on Sauron. I don't know what happened with that special 2, it just didn't connect. Excellent damage through block though, I think that was 30k through block. Not bad at all. You have to ask yourself then, why am I running the Horseman here? And I will be running it for a lot of fights. And the reason is very simple. All those bursts come from the node, that should have been a 90 to 95% clear. What's the node here called? Do not go gentle. Stupid node. This is a fun fight, the champion. No power backs. That right there is why I'm running the Horseman ability. If you get hit, for just a moment, you gain a passive unstoppable. I had a lot of fights to go through to get this. And if there's a chance that I mess up, and I can just have something that gives me a safety net, and does help a bit, I'm absolutely bringing it where I could. I went through some of these bosses many times, and while I got the solo on most of them first time, the bigger problem was actually just me forgetting to press the record button. That happened more times than I died, which is more times than I care to admit. Nice big special 2 coming out of Sauron, 24k crit, 64k crit on the end. Very, very nice. There we get stunned through block because the champion moved phase and I forgot to account for that. But overall, for a pretty difficult boss fight, this is going very smoothly. Most fights against this guy, he's down to his last 10% now, most fights that you'll see against the champion usually use power back boosts. For example, I'm sure you've seen, say, a Cosmic Ghost Rider solo or Professor X solo. A lot of the time, you use power back boosts, so you throw your massive special attack, and that'll put you back to the same special attack, and you just spam them until you get to the end. However, Sauron, no power backs as we're not allowed boosts for the entire video. Now we're just going for the final dexes. If this had been any normal fight, it would have been over a long time ago. However, you've got to get those dexes against the champion. Interesting to note that the champion's unstoppable doesn't quite work against special attacks. There's our 3 dexes. I didn't quite see it as unstoppable. It works against normal hits, just great. But it doesn't work against special attacks, so you are free to throw the special attack, and there's the fight closed, while he's unstoppable. It's a little known thing, but it's very, very helpful. Now for one of the most interesting fights in this entire video. 6.3.1, Medusa. And the reason this fight is interesting is because she has the node, Do You Bleed? You can see so far that we haven't dealt any damage to her, because the only damage she can take is from blocked hits, or from bleed damage. Now the problem with that is, she's got explosive personality, which means if I hit a block, she builds armor buffs. 5 armor buffs means I take a huge amount of damage. She's already up to 2. You might have seen at the start that I had the Mr. Fantastic debuffs on her, so I brought him along in the team, because one of them increases the potency of damage over time. What I thought was effects. Turns out it's damage over time debuffs, and they were completely pointless, so I don't feel too bad about letting them fall off. The problem is that she also has 5% buffet, meaning every time I dex, she can remove it, and she'll probably heal 5% of her max health as well, like that. Now this is a bit of a problem for me, because even though we can deal bleed damage with Sauron, it's not going very well. And it was at this point that I was genuinely worried whether this video would be possible for all solos, or whether, despite having bleed damage, I would have to call it quits against Medusa. I also seem to like eating her special one for some reason, but never mind. Now, I could have made this fight much easier if I just turned off the dexterity mastery. But I didn't. So we're going to do this fight without. And there you might have noticed I had my bleed passive that was ticking for about 2 and a bit K. And then it suddenly started ticking for much more than that, 4.5k. The heal block passive, by the way, is from the synergy I believe is with Mr Sinister, that is on Mr Sinister that Sauron triggers, and he's on the team to ramp up my Apocalypse. You can see they're intercepting her whilst the bleed is on and I'm in my extinction mode. Well, that doubles the effectiveness of our output, meaning we can go from 2.5k per tick bleeds to 4.5k per tick. And that's much better damage. This was the fight I discovered this in, so great. And I'm going to use it. So there we go, we put it on her, so that's 2 point something, intercept, and now it's up to 4.8k per tick. Go for the striker, and we just got to do that once more without letting her heal too much, and this fight will absolutely go our way. So, nearly there. And as I said, I was genuinely worried about this fight. Medusa can trigger her own Furies, which triggers auto-block, which I have no way of getting around. And if she auto-blocks me too many times, well, I'm going to end up eating a lot of burst damage. And you can see I've already taken a huge amount of damage, mostly from Explosive Personality. But we're up to our maximum prowess, get slapped by a special one, but look at that regen. And I get slapped some more, so we're up to 900 per tick regen. But all my prowess fall off, which means I've got to build them again. I get hit again because I remember why this fight went badly. Playing just before this fight, I burnt my thumb quite badly, meaning that I couldn't actually parry very much. So apologies for that, I suppose. It's been a while since I recorded this one. It was one of the first ones I recorded, just to make sure that it was possible. We get slapped by another special one, just trying to close this fight out, trying to get that intercept, and get slapped again. And this is just definitely a demonstration of how much of a tank Sauron is, and not just how bad I am at the game. Or with, one thumb. So we're at 7 prowess, 8 prowess. I don't know why I'm going for single light attacks here. She doesn't have 3 Furies. I think I just noticed that. We're up to 10. We just need, there we go, there's our 11th one, because we get 1 from being a horseman. 2k per tick, and Do You Bleed Medusa falls to our Sauron. At this point, it's very much possible. 6.3.2 Nick Fury. What have we got to watch out for? Well, it's kind of just a big, completely debuff immune Nick Fury. But, as I said before, Sauron doesn't deal in debuffs. All his effects are passives, apart from stuns, but they don't count. That's my lag spike again there, not you. My goal for this fight is mostly just to bait out his special 2, but you can see Sauron's doing some really nice damage just on his basic hits. So the plan is to push him into his second life, like that. And now we're just going to do that all over again. Slightly annoying that he healed back by massive crit at the end, but you do what you can. There we go, dex that. 18k or 17 or 18k mediums is nothing to sniff at. Into our striker. I'm trying to push him to his special 2 here, because I do not want to see that special 1. Come on, we go unblockable. Bait the special 2. Straight into our special 2, massive crits. And even once it's finished, the damage is still respectable. Very clean takedown of Nick Fury. Now, 6.3.3 Havoc. Yes, Sauron can take Havoc. Would I advise it? No. Can he do it? Absolutely. What's the plan? If you need to learn more about Havoc's mechanics, I've got a full video of him on the channel as well, floating around somewhere. It's old, but the information's still great. So we're just going to be pushing Havoc to his special 2, and avoiding the special 1 and the plasma build-up at all costs. My goal is to end this fight as quickly as possible, and we're going to do our best to do that. Here we go, so that's 15, 15, 37, 23k on the end. What was that? 100k? Something like that? Maybe 80? I can't do the maths that quickly. So we've got a few plasma on ourselves, so we're just going to get those off, get Havoc to dump the special 2. And just like that, one striker, the fight's over. Nice and simple. Up next, 634 Infinity War Iron Man. A really quite a tough fight. Used to be worse, now is still bad. But Sauron, he doesn't really care. Goal in this fight? Well, we're going to build to our special 2 and see how much damage that does. I was quite wary about this fight because if he gets some of those armours, we're not going to be looking great. And we have class disadvantage. All in all, we're quite on the back foot. However, 63k crit, not bad, and he's just left at just the edge. In this fight, you must have patience. That's one special baited. There's the second. Is he going to throw the third straight away? He certainly has it available, but with one tap, we close it out. Quite a nasty fight. Sauron makes light work of it. 635 Mysterio. Also a pretty nasty fight. What we've got to be careful of in this fight is tunnel vision, which I have no way around, and I just want to build to my special 2 by baiting out his specials because we have Matador to deal with as well. Come on, there we go. But if Mysterio isn't throwing his specials and he gets to his max gas, normally you have a massive poison stuck on you. Guess what? Sauron doesn't care, he's fully poison immune. So we're just going to bait another special 1. Now we're at our special 2, so we're just going to wait for the gas to go away, the reflection gas, and then we're going to drop our massive special 2, and do our best not to take any of the reflection damage, or eat a heavy. Mysterio loves his heavies. So, there we go, we're at 4 prowess, let's try and build a few more, up to 5, 6. I don't know what I was thinking here. Eat a heavy, stand your ground mastery, being excellent. See the masteries video. There we go, go for our... Ooh. So we don't get a crit on the end, and that's still well over 100,000 damage, maybe 150. Sauron specials hit really hard. There I made the mistake of blocking 2 hits, and because Tunnel Vision's a stupid node, I now have the Falter on me. I can't quite clear that with a light attack, so now I'm just going to have to try and get rid of it just by tapping him. There I missed the parry because my thumb was still hurting at this point. There we go, drop that. Now we just close him out with 2 hits. Easy game, easy life. Now for one of the hardest fights. 636 Cap Infinity War. Crit me with your best shot. And, well, for those of you who've done this fight, you'll probably remember it. Destructive feedback, allowing him to do that. We've got Aggression Fury to worry about. And he's going to be throwing those special attacks, Special 1, Special 2, Special 3. And if he gets to Special 3, that's probably game over. So, I actually have the Heimdall and Guillotine synergy on the team to increase my crit chance by a little bit. Again, that was my lag spike, not you. But it only matters if we do that crit damage when the shield is down, because any damage dealt into the shield won't count. So here, we're just trying to build up some of our additional prowess. You can see the glancing there is actually helping us build prowess, because it gives them to us much faster. It's not going to help us, with the damage, because we can't crit there. We get 1 crit on there. Only 1 crit, that is really bad. If all of those hits are crit, he would be dead, but they didn't. But yeah, the glancing is technically an ability accuracy reduction mechanic, and if you remember from the start of the video, ability accuracy reduction means we gain triple prowess instead of just 1. So we can ramp really fast, but we can't crit. And this is worrying, because I've got to get to Special 2 before he gets to Special 3, because that Special 3 is going to be an absolute nightmare. Those Aggression Fury stacks are also really building. 7, I just took 11,000 block damage. Those are some big Furies. And at this point, we kind of just have to go for it. So I'm waiting until right at the end of the striker, but I mistime it. And we're eating the Special 3 from Captain America Infinity War. But, true MVP Heimdall to the rescue. We've got one more chance. 2 or 3 40k crits. There is nothing in this fight amplifying our damage. That was base Sauron damage. So if we'd got a couple more crits in there, we were looking at upwards of 200,000 damage. But we just need 1 more of those and a few good crits, and this fight's going to be over. Having learnt from the first time, I'm now really slowing this fight down, and really just taking things slowly, biding my time while the shield is up, and just trying to get those basic hits. Because 8k here and there really could make the difference. Go for my Special 2. No crit, no crit, no crit, no crit. No crits on the entire thing! So now we've got to get to our Special 2 before he gets to Special 3, or that's it. Fight's over. With power back boosts, I'm pretty sure the 6-star could take this fight. But maybe I'll have to try that in a separate video. Power back boost and a bit of luck, but we'll see. So he's just coming up to his special 2. He's got 5, 6 of those aggression furies. If he hits me with any basic attack, I'm instantly dead. And now he's at his maximum. I'm at mine. And let's really hope we've got enough hits. And that's why I was waiting for the shield to come down. Turns out the basic hits coming in clutch. Speaking of the 6-star, we certainly haven't forgotten about him. We've brought him back in for Iceman. Yeah, Iceman. Sauron can take this fight too. We're taking a whole load of damage at the start because we're permanently heal blocked in this fight, so I can't heal from my bleed, even though I'm fully resistant to it because I'm a horseman. And that cold snap has eaten away half my health right at the start of the fight. We've come down to 49% health, just so we can get the damage boost from the Courage Mastery, and not just by coincidence. Definitely not. In this fight, much like Mysterio, and that's my lag spike, not yours, we also have Matador to deal with, so I'm just baiting out his specials so I can build to mine. I sometimes fail the Dex Iceman Special 1, so I push him to his Special 2, and now we can do our own big damage. Iceman is also bleed immune, which means we can't get our bleed passive through, but hey, what you can do about it. So there we go, his ice armor's gone, his protection's gone, and that was a 60k crit from a rank 2 Sauron. There is nothing in this fight boosting our damage, that is just Sauron and the supporting team, nothing else. And that's it, fight's over. Rank 2 Sauron, a pretty swift kill for a 6.4 boss. Let's see, what was the time on that? Laugh yourself, Sauron, there we go. 1 minute for a rank 6.4 boss with a 6-star rank 2 is not bad at all, by any means. 642, Thor Ragnarok. Death Touch is going to get very annoying, so we don't want to get touched by that, as well as Thor's personal power gain, and there goes Prove Yourself, because we've got to 15 hits. Sauron's basic damage is doing very well. There's the power gain, and given Thor's specials only cost half as much, we really need to get those specials out of him during the power gain phase. So, let's bait one more special. Come on, Thor. And just to get around that Death Touch, there we go. And Thor can auto-block you when you dash in. Well, guess what? Sauron says, well, I'm unblockable, so I don't care. Through that with just 3 prowess, fight's over. Super quick, 35 hits. What's that in terms of time? Oh, we don't even see. Probably about 30 seconds. 643, Darkhawk. We have class disadvantage. His specials cost half as much, but guess what? Sauron doesn't care. We're going to be coming in with some big specials in this fight, just like many others. I don't want to push Darkhawk to his special 2, because then he'll activate his stealth mode, and that's going to be a bit of an issue for me. So we're just parrying and blocking those hits. More special 1s, please, Darkhawk. Thank you. We're up to 8 prowess, Dex out at the end. 9 prowess. Our unblockable still on cooldown. Just need 1 more special 1 out of him. There it goes. 1, 2, 3. Dex. Oh, we don't Dex that one. 14k medium. Get our heavy attack fury, because why not? No crits. Ooh, 170k crit on the end. Not bad at all, Sauron. From my testing, because that heavy attack fury costs you 3 prowess, it is better to throw the special 2 at 7 prowess with the fury than at 10 prowess. You get more damage, but I forget about that for most of this video. Captain Marvel, we haven't thrown a special. She's already half down. She is not a good defender, and this is a pretty easy boss fight. And the fight's basically over before I even throw the special 2. First hit was 62k. Fight's over, 30 hits. Super quick. Nice job, Sauron. 20 seconds. This was the first fight I ever recorded for this video, and genuinely, this is a tough one with Sauron. Why is it tough? Well, we can't gain power, because he's got the Matador node again, unless he throws a special attack. But when he throws a special attack, he goes unstoppable. Also on a cycle, he's got regen and power gain, meaning he can power gain back to a special, so therefore he can throw the special attack, go unstoppable, power gain back to the special, and he also has limber, though it's not super obvious at the moment. This fight can get out of hand very quickly, so you see there he goes, throws the special, so he goes unstoppable, and then power gains back to another special, so he can throw that. And now he goes unstoppable again, and he's got his power gain. However, we will be using Sauron's secondary damage form here, and we will be going for the degens on the special 3. I did also just sort of get pushed to special 3, but the degen damage is really effective. That was not only a 75k special 3, but then also a follow-up of about 40,000 damage in pure degen. If we do that again, with a few extra prowess in the bank, that's it, fight's over. Needless to say, I'm the one playing, so it doesn't quite go to plan, and we are now stuck in the corner. He's got his power gain that we can shut that off, as well as his regen, and we're just trying to out-damage that regen. Here comes the special 1, we have 1 prowess in the bank, and 5 at base, and at this point I'm kind of debating what to do. Limber has sort of not really allowed me to parry much anymore. I've used most of my parries. And he's unstoppable, and he's regenerating. I don't know why I threw a heavy there, ignore that. And again, I'm really struggling to think about what to do. He's power drained me at this point, so maybe I can go for my special 2. I should have gone in there but didn't. Now we've got our unblockable, so at least we can make our own openings with that. But if I get to my special 2, I need him to throw his. And unfortunately I'm not unblockable anymore. And I've lost my prowess. It does mean they're in the bank, so we can use them for the special 3 rotation. But it's a tricky one. This is a fight that I would be unsure if the 6-star rank 2 can do as well. Maybe I'll have to try that as well. So here we go. We go for another 60k special 3, and we've got 3k per tick. Degen damage going as well. Here he's still unstoppable, and I don't know, YOLO. I just go for the special 2. Doesn't work particularly well. I mean, the damage is pretty respectable. Striker intercept, and despite taking a whole load of hits, Sauron is an absolute tank. Last up, 6.4.6, and the Grandmaster. And to make matters even worse, I forgot to make Sauron a horseman in this fight, so I can't get hit. Well, if I do, I won't go unstoppable. It does actually turn out that it doesn't matter if my Sauron is a horseman or not, for the simple reason that I have to get hit by some of his special attacks in order to trigger the tokens. Now at the start of this fight he really wasn't playing into my intercepts, but luckily I get a whole bunch of them back to back here and we build up a whole load of tokens before he gets bored. So this is really good for us to start. For you wonderful people that have watched my 646 Grandmaster guide, I said in that video that I have never soloed this guy. And that was true. Well, not anymore. At the time of making this video, that was true, but what you are seeing now is my one and only ever solo of the Grandmaster. And look at that, 400k medium attacks, and we've already cleared the first phase in one go. Nice job, Sauron. He can put out some monstrous damage, and if you are hit and you take a load of damage, something that I had in a separate try, which I don't have the recording of anymore, is that the special 1 gives you your regen, but you regen proportional to the burst damage you would deal. And remember, when you've got your tokens of competence up, and the Grandmaster is wounded, you are dealing an ungodly amount of damage. Meaning you can, well, in a past recording, I regenerated from 52% to a full yellow bar in one hit, because of the damage boost. Going for the first set of challenges in Phase 2, we've already done 4 of them, and as I said in the other video, it's really important to know which challenge is coming so you can play into it. Here I know I've got inflict a damaging effect, so all I have to do is just hit him, and now we're in the wounded phase. Back to 350k mediums, 1/4 light attacks, but we need to get him to 40 or is it 30% to close out this phase, so I know it's going to take 2 rotations. Playing it nice and slow, we got gain a buff pretty much straight off the mark, so that's our first challenge. Dex, block, get hit, and getting hit is what would trigger the Horseman ability, so actually it doesn't have much use here. I did try it with it, it doesn't really matter. We now have perform an intercept, Dex, get hit, block, going in, will you play into our intercept? A very cheeky light intercept there. It doesn't play into our second one, but that's no need, we got the challenge, done. Whiff and attack, now we've just got to be careful, I was trying to whiff and attack, got the light intercept again, but there we go, he lets me do it that time. And we're going to go for another special 1 before baiting out some more challenges. Block, get hit, block, and we're still doing very well on health. Inflict a damaging effect we can get just from hitting him because the bursts on our light attacks count as damaging. And on average we get 1 in every combo. We've just got land a critical hit after get hit, block, and dex, and hopefully we'll get it. And there it is, back into the wounded phase. 0.5 mil medium attacks mean we've pushed him into the special 3. Phase 3, sorry. We do not want to push this guy to his special 3. What do we have to worry about in Phase 3? Well, it's those reverse controls. If I was smart, I would have bought the Moon Dragon pre-fight, which would allow him to be immune to reverse controls, but I didn't, so we have to play without it. We get dash backwards for our first challenge, there it goes, but we are losing ground pretty rapidly in this fight, so I'd like to push him back towards his wall pretty soon. Block, get hit, block, and that reverse controls timer is coming around. We've got knock him down, so we're going to go for our special 1, knock him down, and we can grab a little bit of extra regen as well. Or we can have the opposite of that and get hit in the face. We've got dash back again, so remember they don't count during his special attack, so even though I dash back here to evade, doesn't count. So, I'm going to knock him down again just to get that space back, and then I'm going to be going for my dash backs. 1, 2, and 3. There's the challenge successful. Now we've got knock him down again, which is quite annoying given I just threw my special 1. But we'll work out something, I'm sure. Special 1, block, get hit, block. And now I try to knock him down, but my special 1 mistimes. So we gain a token of blunder, and the reverse controls have come up. So I am trying to just take this super slowly and carefully. I do not want to get hit. He is now wounded, so that is helpful. And you can see there I gained a massive tick of regeneration, as that helped me quite a bit, as I still have my special 1 up. We've got standstill now, and the reverse controls have gone, so we are nearly there. Dex, get hit, block, going back in. Just need to stand still to complete this challenge. There's challenge complete. He is down to just 6% health. All I've got to do is 4 more challenges, and the last phase, and we're there. Dex, Dex, get hit. And I got to this point quite a few times. I think this guy took me a fair few attempts. Sauron's damage is still really, really good. That was over 200k, and nothing was boosting his damage on that special. And bearing in mind, the Grandmaster can still take damage when he's not wounded. Obviously, it's not much. But that was a huge amount of damage in any other fight. Enough to nuke down pretty much any other boss in Act 6 in just one special 2. Right, we've got 8. We just need 2 more, so we've got standstill again, but we're right up in the corner. Avoid that unstoppable. Heavy attack, avoid another one. Here comes the Grandmaster special 2, but I do not want to see his special 3. We've got dash back, and all we've got to do is complete that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he is wounded. In we go. Phase completed. Now we just have to survive. Didn't quite count my combo properly there, and he's already gone unstoppable. So we just need to wait until that red infuriate goes down. We're up against our corner. Avoid that. And there is the Grandmaster falling to Sauron. A couple of victory hits before we go for our fight-ending special 3. And that is every single boss in Act 6 soloed by Sauron, as he psych blasts the Grandmaster and throws him back on the ground where he belongs. Sauron laughs at Act 6. So, there you have it. Every single Act 6 boss soloed by Sauron. For more information about Act 6, the easy paths and every single boss, I have a full playlist covering the easy paths of every single quest, as well as a full run through to go with it, showing exactly how I go through it. And to get to these bosses, I just took those paths. I did nothing in this video that I didn't explain in that playlist. I'll link it everywhere. Coming soon. At the moment, we're primarily focused on Act 7, currently at 7.1.2, and that video will be coming out soon. I do need to do another Defender. That'll probably be the Red Skull Onslaught. They'll be coming fairly soon as well, though fairly soon on my timeline is whenever I get round to it. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below, and also consider joining the Discord server. A great place to get specific advice, make suggestions for future video topics, and while I'm awake, I do my best to be there as much as possible. Thank you, and I will see you next time.